Tim Parlatore, the lawyer for Bernie Kerik, who has been subpoenaed by Fulton County Prosecutor Fani Willis to come and testify at the trials, Parlatore went on CNN this week to essentially lay out what the defense strategy is going to be for both Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani, and it's a strategy that Kerik is going to play right into. And the strategy, of course, is blame everything on Sidney Powell. Now, if I were somebody's defense attorney, I probably wouldn't go on TV and go ahead and let prosecutors know exactly what I'm going to do in court. That doesn't sound like a smart decision, but Parlatore, to each their own. Here is what he said about their legal strategy. Take a look.
Is Sidney Powell the only one that he might have evidence against or testimony against? Are there other individuals that he might have witnessed something that is worth discussing?
In this group, it is primarily Sidney Powell because, the testimony that he has is that Rudy Giuliani and his whole team, they were pursuing leads. They were hampered by a lack of time, a lack of resources, and so that prevented them from being able to chase everything down completely. It certainly did lead to certain inaccuracies. But when they talk about people putting out knowingly false claims, Kerik and others are going to be able to point right over at Sidney Powell and say, hey, what they're accusing us of, she did. And then he's going to be able to testify about, that's why she was fired. That's why President Trump told her she wasn't allowed back in the White House. It's actually, in a weird way, very exculpatory to President Trump and to Rudy Giuliani to say, yeah, there was somebody doing something wrong, Sidney Powell, and that's why we got rid of her. That's why we distanced ourselves from her. So I do think it is problematic for her, but in inculpating her, it also exculpates Rudy Giuliani and President Trump.
Why were her crazy comments any different from anybody else's?
Because she was pushing things that had already been found not to be true.
Okay. I mean, I think a lot of people were pushing things that were already found not to be true, but to be continued, we'll have you back and talk more about this. Tim Parlatore, always good to have you on. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
So there it is. Yeah, some people were doing some illegal things, Judge. But it was all this woman over here, Sidney Powell. She did every bit of it. Like, we're just standing there like, oh my God, what a lunatic, right? I mean, hey, we're with you on this, Judge. She's a little out there, right? That's your defense strategy, huh? To say that Sidney Powell just did it all and we tried to distance ourselves from her. She was banned from the White House. Cool. Interesting strategy. Let me tell you why it doesn't work. Because you still went along with all of her idiotic plans. I know Parlatore in that clip was like, it's actually pretty exculpatory for Trump. It's actually the opposite, you idiot. Because these plans were put forth in part by Sidney Powell. So if your people, like Bernie Kerik, are going to go in there, blame everything on Powell, say that she's a lunatic, nobody wanted to listen to her, we kicked her out of the White House forever, and then the prosecution's going to be like, but you still did what she told you to do, right? I mean, you admit you think she's crazy, and then you still went along with her crazy plan, huh? That doesn't seem smart. Why would you do that? That question right there is going to destroy your entire legal defense. And I got to tell you, by putting it out there on the air on CNN, you're actually giving prosecutors a much longer time to craft it and say it better than I just said it. So thank you, Tim Parlatore, for, giving up the game there. Not to mention the fact, you idiot, that Sidney Powell's being offered a plea deal. So by going out there in the media, letting Sidney Powell know we're going to blame it all on you, you're actually giving her more incentive to take the plea deal and testify against your guy because you couldn't keep your mouth shut? Wow. Wow is all I can say to that, because that might be the dumbest move in the history of law in the United States. Great job, Parlatore. This is going to come back to bite you. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.